How can American citizens pay historically low federal income tax rates and still feel as though they are taxed enough already? For one thing, some taxes have been going up, but not income taxes. The last president who raised income taxes across the board was President Clinton in the 90s. The first permanent federal income tax truly was a millionaire's tax when people such as John D. Rockefeller were accumulating enormous wealth that was untroubled by income, inheritance, or payroll taxes, or even antitrust laws. According to a Rockefeller biographer, Ron Chernow, although Rockefeller abstained from smoking or drinking, the aspiring tycoon spent hours as a young man staring longingly at a $4,000 banknote his employer had put in a safe. During the time Mark Twain dubbed the Gilded Age, the term new money also came into use. The Vanderbilts, another royalty of New York high society, didn't want to admit newcomers to their exclusive club. At that time, worker protections didn't exist, and child labor was still legal. The 8-hour workday was still just a dream yet to be realized. Rockefeller was a philanthropist who founded the Rockefeller Foundation and gave the University of Chicago $25 million in today's dollars. But he refused to have his name on buildings, unlike Andrew Carnegie and some presidents we may know. Yet Rockefeller cheered when labor demonstrators were shot and vehemently opposed President Teddy Roosevelt's trust-busting crusade and the idea of income tax. Republican President Theodore Roosevelt supported an income tax for the rich and a 2% tax on corporations, along with other progressive Republicans, but he didn't get his proposal through. President Woodrow Wilson did it by helping to amend the Constitution. Why was this tax favored by leaders from both parties? Global ambitions. Projecting global naval power to defend its growing merchant fleet of ships was an issue. The ruling class disagreed that their income should make up the gap. When the income tax came along in 1913, with a top rate of 6%, Rockefeller said the government had no right to share in his earnings. Why was an amendment needed? The Constitution states that taxes must be apportioned among the states, which meant that not that much money could be collected. In those years, the 1880s and 1890s, inheritance taxes were created by state governments to tax family wealth and theoretically to prevent aristocracy. Unlike income taxes, Andrew Carnegie and John Rockefeller supported this. Carnegie even said, "I want to die poor." Later in the 20th century, President Franklin Roosevelt, Teddy's descendant and cousin, but a Democrat, supported a progressive inheritance tax on the federal level that took up to 75% of the incomes of the affluent. The 1935 Revenue Act was popularly known at the time as the Soak the Rich tax. Although today federal taxes are at a historic low of 37% for top incomes, many Americans feel burdened by taxes, even before Congress passed the tax cut in 2017. In the 1940s, some taxpayers actually paid more than 90%. That doesn't mean, by the way, that they gave the government 90% of their income. The marginal rate means that you pay that rate on only the portion of income that rises above a certain specified level, not on the total. So why do Americans feel like they're overtaxed today? There's good possible reasons for that. Number one, many Americans pay more for retirement and medical coverage, FICA or payroll taxes, than they do income taxes. Number two, sharp increases in state and local taxes since the 70s, which are now higher than any federal tax rates in many of the states. This is why the affluent states resisted the state and local deductions in the Trump administration's proposed tax law. The inheritance tax on estates over $5.5 million was raised by Congress in 2018 to $10 million. This gives a windfall to your average billionaire's family to the tune of $200 billion that would normally have gone into the United States Treasury. It appears that the idea of soaking the rich has gone the way of the horse and buggy.